group of
There's
players?
a group of 6 to 8 players that I can see on their best days running away with the title. So.
Cheers. I actually saw someone who said that you were being very impolite because last time we said cheers, you didn't drink afterwards.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah. Can you look into the camera and say sorry?
Sorry for
being impolite.
For toasting and not drinking afterwards. I often do that when I'm in.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. I often do that when I'm, having dinner with people who's drinking alcohol, like wine and stuff like that. I'm pretending that I'm also drinking. So, cheers, guys, and then I just put the glass down again.
Fair enough. It's. I think it's your turn to do the intro.
It is.
I don't know, but it is now.
Hello, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Badminton Experience. This still quite new podcast with myself, Anders Antonsen, and besides me sits Hans Christian Widdinghus.
What's up?
A legend of the game. He's still around for some reason. I don't know why, but he's still here and he's a part of the podcast, and I'm really happy about that.
I'm still the same animal, but a different kind of beast.
We shouldn't get into that one, or maybe you should explain it really quickly.
I can't explain it. You should just look it up.
Just forget about it. So yeah, you just messed up my introduction.
But
I totally lost
it. It was actually pretty good before I messed it up.
Yeah, it was. So this episode, guys, is totally going to be about the Olympics, which is coming closer. It's only like 10 days from the day that we are recording.
Yeah, I think badminton starts on the 25th, right? And we are recording this on the 14th of July.
24th, actually, I believe.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
because I arrived the day before. That's the 23rd.
Yeah. So the Olympics is coming closer, and of course, we, the Badminton Experience, are going to talk about that
and,
in depth.
At least.
Yeah. Let's
some of it
see about that.
But
Hans Christian,
Anders,
what is your first Olympic memory?
I'm so glad you asked.
Because we prepared it.
We actually prepared.
It would be weird if I asked something totally different.
Yeah, but it would be nice as well. You can do that next time. But it's actually, does it have to be badminton related? Because my first Olympic memory is not badminton related. It's actually about handball.
Okay.
And it's not my favorite sport, but the first thing I remember watching from the Olympics is when the Danish women won the Olympics in '96 in Atlanta. Because I was
about to say I remember that too, but then you said '96. Okay, I do not remember that.
But I think they won like 2 or 3 times in a row, so maybe that's why you think you remember. I saw the first time they did it. I was at a holiday place in Bornholm, a small island here in Denmark. And I just remember we were watching it late at night because of the time difference, and everyone was just so psyched up because of the final. I think it was close. We beat South Korea in extra time or something like that.
How old were you at that time?
96? It was in '96, and I'm from '86, so 10 years old.
10 years old.
And actually, even though Paul Erik also won the men's singles gold, I don't really remember watching that the same way. My biggest memory is from watching the women's handball.
But you played badminton when you were 10 years old, right?
Yeah, I started when I was 5.
Yeah,
so I had already played for 5 years. What about you?
I think I remember. I definitely remember when Lee Chong-wei and Lan Dan played each other in 2008 in the final.
Yeah.
But I think that I've always been saying that I remember watching that match. But it's actually a lie. I didn't watch it, but I remember what I did at the time. So there was a bunch of people sitting in the cafeteria at my old club, Aarhus Badminton Club, still my club. So there was a bunch of people sitting in the cafeteria watching the final, but me and Rasmus Gemke was running around out in the hall and just playing, quarter court and all different games. And we just wanted to play. We didn't even care to watch the match. So, but I still remember the match quite clearly. I've seen it many times after that, and
I actually, now that you mention a story like that, it reminds me of when I watched it. It's not an Olympic story, but when I watched Camilla Martin win the World Championships in '99 in Brøndby in Denmark, I was actually in the stadium watching it, and I was 13 at the time, but I didn't watch more than a few points because I was just busy collecting bottles. Because when you collect a bottle and you deliver it back to return it, then you get some money here in Denmark, just a little bit, like 1 or 2 crowns.
Yeah.
So the entire final, I was just walking around trying to get a few pennies.
Get some money.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I remember watching the match point, and that was about it.
that was huge.
But in 2008, how old were you then?
11.
All right, so actually our memory is from around the same age.
Yeah,
10 and 11.
Yeah. Other than that, I've always enjoyed watching Usain Bolt winning all his gold medals in different distances, 100 meter and 200 meter, and yeah,
he's quite the legend as well. But I still prefer women's handball. No.
So, but the thing is, ever since I started playing badminton, I've always been told that the biggest thing that you can win is the Olympics. That is the biggest thing. And I've heard it so much that I'm almost like tired of hearing about the Olympics and talking about it. And now I'm at the point where I just want to experience it on my own body and kind of see what it will do to me, like mentally, how I'm able to cope with it.
Do you think this Olympics will then give you that feeling of having experienced a like full-on Olympics? Because it is going to be quite different, right? So compared to London or Rio or any other Olympic Games, because of all the restrictions, no spectators at all. I think they announced that like 1 or 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. So,
because for me, like I've been there in London, I've been there in Rio as a commentator, and I think a big part of the experience is the atmosphere. Like it's nuts. It's so different from a regular badminton tournament because it's not necessarily huge badminton fans. All of those that go to watch it in the arena, they just support a specific country, so they don't really, I wouldn't say care about the badminton, but they don't understand it so well, so they just go crazy. And I think the atmosphere is a big part of it. We're not going to get that this time, but do you think it will make a difference for you? Or
Of course, it's not the same playing without spectators. But we have experienced it a few times now. I mean, in Thailand, where we had this bubble back in January, we played with no spectators, and it's just not the same. Of course, it's not. I mean, I love playing in front of a lot of people. One of the reasons why I love to play in Indonesia, because there's this amazing crowd, and they are so passionate about the sport, and they are really, really good at cheering. So it's definitely not going to be the same, but it is what it is. I mean, those are now the terms, and of course it sucks. It's not ideal, but I'll try to get the best out of it anyway.
I guess you will probably also still feel the same kind of pressure and maybe also media attention, and like if you would feel that it is a bigger event than just a regular World Championship or All England that are considered some of the other really huge events for us.
I mean, it's.
Do you already feel that?
Yeah, I do. I mean, the attention is huge. It's all that journalists has been talking about for the previous 2 years. I mean, now it also got postponed 1 year, so it's been a long journey to get here. But yes, and I mean, I've never experienced this event, and this is, everyone says that this is the biggest event that you can experience. And for that reason, I'm really curious to see how I'm able to deal with it. Will it make me extra nervous? Will I not be able to cope with the extra pressure from the outside world, the media, and I mean it is huge. It seems huge, and I've tried to play it down a little bit, and I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't think it's.
You don't want to kind of get carried away, and
no, I just don't feel that it's going to do any good to you just to hype it up so big. So try to stay calm and take it for what it is. A tournament, of course, it's different, and I acknowledge that. But still try to downplay it a little bit.
In the end, it's still just the badminton match you need to play when you get on court, right?
Yeah. And also, what I can understand from players or athletes who has been at Olympics before, one of the nice things about it is that you are able to go and see a lot of different sports and cheer for your nation. And I don't think
what do you call that? People from your own country. What do you call that?
Compatriots. Yes,
beautiful.
Compatriots. Beautiful. I messed that one up many years ago. I said compatriots, but now I got it right. I think so. Hope so. Compatriots.
But is that going to be possible for you guys this time?
No, I don't think it is. I mean, I would love to go and see handball or many sports. There's many sports that I would like to see and cheer for the other Danes.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's possible.
No,
I don't.
No, I'm quite happy that last time in Rio, when I was also commentating for Danish TV, I actually had a pass that gave me access to all arenas, and me and the guy that I was commentating with, we tried our best to get to as many different sports as possible, and that was really like a huge experience. Because when I was in London, I only had access to the badminton arena, so I actually didn't really feel in London I could feel that it was a big event, of course, but I was only in the badminton arena, so for me it was basically just like any other badminton event. The atmosphere in the arena was a little bit different, but I got a much better understanding of this entire Olympic spirit and what it is when I was in Rio. I think I watched maybe like 20-25 different sports. I got out to a lot of them.
So in the beginning, you told me about your first Olympic memory. What is your favorite Olympic memory?
Oh, that's actually a good question. I think from badminton, I would choose the final in London between Lee Chong-wei and Lin Dan. That was just a
crazy match.
And it was like right in the heat of it and the moment of it, it felt like badminton magic. I think that like the level of badminton was insane, and the atmosphere was just crazy. We had a lot of Danish like TV producers and commentators that were not working at that specific time, so they had that day off. They came to the arena to watch it, even though they didn't really care about badminton. They just wanted to watch Lee Chong-wei and Lin Dan play. So I think for badminton it's hard to get past that one. But I'll say apart from that, I went to watch Brazil win the football final in Rio, beating Germany.
Yeah, I could imagine that one being crazy.
In Maracanã, the national stadium of Brazil. When Neymar scored, it was just, I've never experienced anything like that.
Okay.
And I don't think I will ever experience something like that again. They went absolutely crazy. It was unreal.
Football is just a different.
It's a
different beast.
It is. Yeah, it is a different beast. And I would even say, like in Olympics, you don't really rate football that high. But I think just because it was in Brazil as well, and they had never won the Olympics in football, it also meant a little bit extra to them. So yeah, that would be my best memory.
Do you want to hear about my
I'm actually not sure. Should I ask Oliver? Should I ask him?
Let's just. Okay.
All right. What's your best memory?
It's the same.
So you also watched that football match?
No, not the football match. The final between Lin Dan and Lee Chong-wei.
That just.
I don't know. I don't know if I have a favorite memory. But I remember that match. How did it ended like?
Was it not 21-19?
21-19.
It ends on a high lift from Chong-wei that's out on the back line.
He played Lin Dan to the net, to his forehand. which you don't do at 19, 20.
Don't try that,
guys. If you are ever going to face Lindan, you're probably not, since he is retired. But if the score is 19-20 in the third, don't play him in the forehand at the net. That was what happened. He spinned, Lichtenring lifted too long, and Lindan went.
He just runs.
He went running, and crazy match. Go and watch it on YouTube. It's definitely there.
It is for sure.
But if you are a big badminton fan, you probably already have seen the match, I guess.
I would even argue if you haven't watched it, you're not a proper badminton fan. Harsh, but true.
Yes. So, Hans Christian, you are a men's single player, and I am a men's single player.
That's true.
Too. But I'm not really. I'm a men's double player, but I just play men's single because that is, where the money's at. So, no, but we are both, of course, very excited about the men's single draw. Of course, the other categories is exciting as well. But we are going a little bit more in depth with the. Is it depth or is
in depth?
In depth with the men's single category, and Hans Christian
for sure.
Is there any? You have seen the draw.
I have seen the draw. I also have the draw right here.
Is there any matchups or any group matches that you are extra interested in?
Well, first of all, I think the system for singles at the Olympics is pretty bad, actually. I think
the group system.
Yeah, I don't like it in singles because I think there are too many seeds compared to the number of quality players in the event. Because there are very few groups where you actually have a thought that one of the seeds could lose. So I think a lot of the matches at the Olympics in the group stage is not going to be really interesting. There's going to be a lot of one-sided matches. At least that's my opinion. I think it works better in the doubles. So I don't have a lot of groups where the draw is here where I think it's exciting, but there are a few that I'm quite keen on watching. I think one is Group G with Jonathan Christie and Lo Kian Yu from Singapore. And I think Kian, who we had the pleasure of training with here in Denmark for a short while, a couple of years ago, I think he's the kind of guy that he can play at a really high level in a few matches. So he could maybe.
He's definitely one of those guys that you didn't want to face in the group.
Yeah, the unseeded players. I also actually, I'm quite curious to see how Lee Sijia will do against Brice Levedes.
The Malaysian hope,
the
winner of All England 2021, Lee Sijia. Of course,
he was so impressive in that event, but it's just, Brice, that he has these matches every now and then where if his game is working, he's not that easy to beat.
No.
And Lee Sijia, he will know that as well. Maybe if he's a little bit nervous, I think that could be a quite interesting match.
For sure. I think and Brice has defeated Lee Chong-wei in a world championship.
In Glasgow in 2017.
And he has also defeated him in Denmark Open was it a quarterfinal match?
Yeah, that's true.
2016, I think.
Yeah.
So he's definitely the type of guy to make an upset and beat one of the favorites. So I wouldn't have Brice in my group.
I think either. The one thing that is not so good for Brice is that his form has not been great for the past year or so, and I would even argue that Toma Popov, who is also now ranked above him, I think was maybe on paper a better choice for France for the future as well. But Brice ended higher on the Olympics ranking, so of course it's fair that he's there. But if he can find some of that old form, I think it could be quite interesting.
So the seeded player there's 16 group guys, and there's 16 seeded players.
That's actually only 14.
There's only 14 groups, guys.
And there's 14 seeds.
And there's 14 seeds.
Yeah, you know the system well. So the winner of Group A and Group P, so Group 1 and 14, they will have a bye if they win the group.
Yeah, which is a huge advantage I believe.
Yeah, it is for sure. So that's why you should be number 1 or 2 in the world.
Yeah, I didn't know that going into.
So that's why you're not number 1 or 2.
That's why I'm not number 1 or 2. I'm number 3, so it sucks.
So at least you know that for Paris.
Yeah, for Paris in 2024.
Yeah.
There's only 3 years till the next Olympics, so yeah, it's coming closer. Yeah. I'm preparing for it.
It is. Yeah, I don't know. I think we before we went on air, we spoke a little bit about who you didn't want in the group stage as well. You also mentioned a guy like Mark Kallio was one of the better ones.
Yeah.
And he's in a group with the Sai Praneeth from India, and I think that's maybe not a 50-50 match, but it's also a match that Praneeth could have some trouble in.
Yeah, it's a close match for sure.
How do you like your draw? You have.
So I'm facing Chien Nguyen Nguyen from Vietnam, and I'm facing, and we have to pronounce the name right.
Adereski Duichayo
from Guatemala. From Azerbaijan.
Yeah.
And
originally from Indonesia.
Yeah, originally from Indonesia. I would also say that, Chien Min is he's experienced. He's like 38. I mean, he's been around.
Is he that old?
I think he is 38. He's been around for a long time, and he's a very experienced player. And I remember seeing him defeating Jano Jorgensen in a World Championship quarterfinal in, when was that, 2013?
In Guangzhou in China.
Yeah, he played a really close match with Peter Gader at the World Championships quarterfinal in 2011.
True, in London.
Wow, I have a great memory.
Yeah, I'm actually impressed that he is 38, so that was quite impressive.
So, but that's research, Hans. Yeah. I prepare for these episodes.
That's good to know you started doing that.
So, but I faced him in my I faced him once in my first match at the World Championships in 2018, I believe, and I won in straight games. But he's like, this hard-working guy that just won't give up. He's fighting really, really hard, and he's definitely not going to be an easy match for me. Adoreski, I haven't really seen him play or played against him, so I'll have to do some research on him. But I don't know. I mean, it could have been a little bit better maybe, and it could also have been a little bit worse. So overall, I'm okay with my group.
Yeah. Do you actually think it's an advantage that you have two players they're not bad, so they can obviously play at a pretty high level? Or would you prefer to have maybe just one decent player and then one of the lower quality ones to save some energy?
Yeah, I think it would be an advantage to save as much energy as possible. Because after the group there is only very tough matches from there, and
you're drawn to play Kantapon Wangcharon or Kai Schäfer or Toby Penty, but
that's actually also a very close group.
I think that's one of the most evenly balanced groups there is.
I mean, there's so many upcoming matches that we can talk about. I mean, I don't know if we have enough time for it. There's but one that I want to point out is after the group, Lee Sijia from Malaysia. If he beats Bruce Leverdes and Artem Bacharev, then he's going to face Chen Long from China, who is also a quite big favorite in his group.
Yeah,
and that is going to be one interesting match. I mean, we haven't seen, and that's one of the interesting things about this Olympics, that we haven't seen the players from China in a long time. I mean,
that's definitely one of the big unknowns. No doubt about it. We haven't seen them since
All England
2019, right?
2019, 2020.
2020, yeah, 2020.
All England 2020. So it's been a long time, and they haven't been competing. And what will that do to them? I mean, are they rusty? Or are they? Yeah. They're probably showing up in great shape. If I know China right, they're probably been.
Yeah. I think they're gonna be pretty hard to beat. Like I don't think they will show up and be showing any signs of missing match practice.
No.
I actually think they're gonna be producing better results than what we saw from them before the corona outbreak. That's my take on it, because I think with the chances they've had to just prepare for this, I think that's one of the things China just do so well, prepare for big events. And now they've had so long. I also saw this photo of them setting up an arena to make it look exactly like the one we're playing in Tokyo.
Wow. Okay.
So they didn't build a new arena, but they had an existing one where they just changed the like the inside of the arena to make it look exactly like the one that you encounter in Tokyo. And it's, of course, it's not a huge advantage or gonna make a huge difference, but it's just doing these small things and trying to gain a small advantage.
The Chinese players is not to be messed with in these type of tournaments. You know, especially the Olympics. They just seems extremely focused and extremely motivated. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see Qinglong and Shiuki how they will do in this tournament, and also, you know, Kento Momota. Of course, everyone knows Kento Momota, and he was dominating before his car crash back in January 2020.
Yeah.
But ever since that, he has only played one tournament, and that was at the All England this year. Was it March?
Yeah, in March, where he lost to Li Xijiao.
He lost to Li Xijiao, and of course, Li Xijiao was playing phenomenal the whole tournament, but he didn't look as good as before. I think that's fair to say. He was maybe a little bit, you know, nervous and did not have the confidence. He also said that, right?
Yeah.
He said that afterwards, that he was, you know, lacking confidence a little bit.
Yeah. I think where you could really see the difference was in his net game. That I think actually Li Xijiao was the one dominating the net, and I don't think you see that too often when you see like Momota at his best. He's probably the one player with the best touch at the net. I would say, at least. So it's going to be interesting to see if he has that back at the Olympics now that he also had that match he had 3 matches, of course, in All England to kind of measure himself again and see where he needs to improve. I'm wondering like how he's going to handle the pressure, but I'm also thinking that it might be a little advantage for him that there's no spectators. I think it will remove a little bit of pressure from him and the other Japanese players, but I think the pressure was always going to be highest on Momota, also because of his history of being so dominant before his car crash.
Yeah, I don't know about the thing with spectators, because, you know, as soon as you start the match, you kind of forget a little bit about it. Of course, if you are in a crazy environment like in Indonesia, you don't forget about it.
Yeah.
But I still think you do a little bit. I mean, we played in Thailand and at the All England, and all of us played just fine and played really good.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it. Yeah, I don't know how big of an impact it has, but I don't know. But
is he your favorite to win?
Kento? I mean, I mean that's one of the very interesting thing about this Olympic is there's so many questions, and I really have no idea. I would say Kento or Victor is the 2 favorites. Victor has obviously been looking extremely well playing. In at the All England, in Thailand, and at the All England the year before. So he's in phenomenal shape, and he's I have Victor as a slight favorite.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I have Kento as number 2. But then again, the Indonesian players, Anthony Ginting, Jonathan Christie, the Chinese players, Qinglong and Shiuki, and then there's, you know, the outsiders like I mean, even though Chou Chin is seated second, I mean I still have Victor as a bigger favorite than him.
I don't think anyone really rates him as one of the big favorites to win. I also saw he has this head-to-head against the big guys like Qinglong, Momota, and Victor. It's like 2-9 and 0-6. And
okay.
Yeah, he's really not doing so well against the top guys. So it's not to be disrespectful or anything.
No.
He is seeded second, but I don't think anyone sees him as the big favorite in any way. But what about this? There's one guy you didn't mention. And he's
myself?
Like, yeah. You're seeded 3.
I'm not even close to being a favorite in this one. I'm downplaying my own chances here. No. I have 0 chance of. No, I don't know. I definitely feel that on my best days, I have showed that I can beat almost every player in the field. I have not defeated Anthony Ginting, and I have not defeated Shi Uki. But other than that, I think I have.
You've tried beating everyone.
Yeah, I've tried to
at some point
beat all the other guys, but I don't know. I'm definitely, as mentioned, I have Kento and Victor as the 2 favorites, and then
you see yourself in the next group of.
There's
players.
A group of 6 to 8 players that I can see on their best days running away with the title. So. It's going to be very, very interesting, and I'm really looking forward to get started, finally get going. And
what is like the one thing that you're most excited to see with the Olympics in badminton?
I hope that I will see you there, because I know that you're going to be a commentator for Danish TV.
I am.
So I hope that I can spot you somewhere.
I'm actually a little bit worried now that there's not going to be any spectators if players are going to be able to hear us on court if we sit too close to the courts.
If you're going crazy during the match.
Yeah, but luckily the guy that I'm co-commentating with, he's not one of the guys that are extremely excited when he's on air. But I remember from London, it was the same guy I did it with at that time. But we had the guy next to us that did Danish radio. And he was so excited all the time. And I remember Joachim Fischer, he says that when he lost the semifinal in mixed doubles, where I think he actually served into the net on 19 all or 19-18, something like that. He says that he could hear that guy, the radio commentator, just saying, no. And he's always kind of held him accountable to that. That said that it was his fault that they didn't close it in the end. And now they're working together on a TV station in Denmark. It's Henrik Fellesen who works for TV2, where Fischer is now also working. Yeah. So I'm going to be very focused on that I don't speak too loud if I say bad things, at least. Yeah. And I intend to say a lot of bad things about you. Yeah, especially about me. Yeah. But no, I'm very excited to have all the players back in the same tournament again, because we haven't seen that in like 2 years or something like that. So all the best players in the world is gathered for this big event, and I'm expecting everyone to show up in the best shape of their life. So it's going to be the best version of all the players, and one hell of a tournament. It's going to be really exciting to see how it will play out. And make sure, guys, to tune in. I hope that you are excited too, to see a lot of badminton in the television again. I believe that the badminton fans has had a hard time, and I'm quite sure that they're excited to see some badminton again. I'm sure they are. But do you think they're also excited to watch other things than men's singles? Yeah. Do you have any take you want to put out there about the other categories? Like one big surprise you see that's possible, or one thing that you're excited to see, or I'm excited to see. Don't you give a shit? I definitely give a shit. Oh, right, fair enough. I definitely care about the other categories. I love watching the other categories as well. Women's single is now it's without Carolina Marin. Yeah, that's a shame. That's a big shame. Knee injury, right? Yeah, the other knee than the one that broke before. Yeah. So she's the defending champion, but she's not going to be there. So I guess Tai Su Ying from is the big favorite. Yeah, well, she's seeded second. I think it's Chen Yufei actually who's seeded one, but she's again one of the Chinese, so we don't really know where she stands. So I would also say that on paper it's. And then I'm looking forward to. Have you watched my latest vlog? I have actually. You have? Yeah. Okay, this time so
You know, my mom's favorite badminton player, Yuta Watanabe from Japan.
Yeah.
And I guess he's playing both men's double and mixed double, right?
Yeah, he's one of the few. Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to see how he will do. My mom's favorite badminton player.
But if he does really well, you will not have a chance of becoming your mom's favorite.
So
you actually hope he loses.
I have mixed emotions towards Yuta.
You're really gonna cheer for Kim and Antonsen. They're gonna play him in the men's doubles group. They play Endo and Watanabe.
The Danish hope in men's double: Kim Astrup Sørensen and Anders Skaarup Rasmussen. They are going to play Yuta Watanabe and Endo.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how he will do.
Yeah, I think there's actually quite a few groups in the men's doubles category that are going to be quite interesting to follow. There's this group A with Sukamuljo, Gideon, Li Yang, and Wang Chilin from Taipei, which they won all 3 events in Thailand back in January. Right?
Insane.
They also have Ben Lane and Sean Wendy, but then also the Indians, Shetty and Ranki Reddy. I think that's a pretty.
There's only 16 pairs in men's double, only 4 groups.
Yeah.
So the top 2 of every group advances.
Go through.
What's the word?
Advances. Yeah.
Advances.
Thanks, Oliver.
Almost got it right.
Yeah. I think if you hadn't said anything, I don't think anyone would have noticed you messed it up. Yeah.
Damn. But men's double is a phenomenal game. It's always very fun to watch.
And I think in general we can say that the group stage in the doubles is gonna be quite intense because there, as you said, there's only 2 that will go through, and most groups has at least 3 world-class pairings in all events.
Yeah. Should we get into
the words about doubles, right?
Yeah. and maybe just that was it for this segment of the podcast. Don't you think we should get into some listeners' questions?
Yeah. So we just we cut,
because that is and what was the phrase?
Recurring theme
that
in
is
this podcast.
One of the recurring themes in the podcast, together with Mr. Badminton.
Yeah.
Of course, he's still here with us on the table.
Actually, was it a bit rude we didn't introduce him in the beginning?
No, he's fine with it. It's okay.
Can you just show people what's on your cap?
So there's also a bear on my cap. It's actually, this cap is one of my friend's cap.
So that's also not your cap, like Mr. Badminton is your brother's souvenir.
So I just...
Is anything in this apartment actually yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
This computer is mine. I bought the microphones. I have a spinning bike over here. You can't see it on the screen. But that's it. Yeah. No. So how me and my friends, how we roll is that we share clothes. We share. We have.
You share everything.
We share economy and we share everything. So sometimes sometimes my clothes is gone and then there's something else. Okay, I just take this and this is the case with this cap. It is a Chicago Cubs cap.
Okay, I didn't know.
And it is it's a baseball team, right?
I think so.
I think it's a baseball team.
It is.
So they also have a bear as a mascot. So
I was in Chicago once with one of my friends, and we actually we wanted to go check out some sports stadiums, and we wanted to go watch the stadium for the Chicago White Sox, which is the other baseball team of Chicago. We never managed to find the stadium until the very last night when we went out, and we found out that it was 1 kilometer down the road from the hotel we stayed in. So we never got to watch the stadium. We only saw it during nighttime. So that's just a small side story. It doesn't have anything to do with anything.
I knew immediately when you started telling that story that it was going to suck. Okay.
But that's why I know Chicago Cubs is also a baseball team, because that's the 2 teams they have, right, in Chicago. Move on.
Once again, you have picked some questions. And
we got a lot of questions from you guys on YouTube. One of them, we only took the ones that were about the Olympics, because this is the Olympic edition. The first one is from David Damanju, and he wants to know if you're bringing your own food or if the Olympics give you like an option to choose different foods. Do you know how that's gonna work? You have a little bit of experience with multi-sport events, right?
Yeah, I've tried something similar at the European Games. It's kind of like, you know, the same setup. It's an Olympic village, so almost all the athletes stay in the Olympic village, and there's this big I don't know if it's a tent or what it is, but this big place where we eat. All the athletes eat all their meals. So that's how that works.
And there's like different types of kitchens, right? So
yeah,
you can
there's
have
different
Japanese
type of kitchens,
or Western food,
and it's like an enormous. I don't know if it's going to be like a buffet in these times. I don't know about that, but yeah, you walk up to different stations and then you say, I would like that, and then they give it to you. Then you go and eat it, and at that place you can also mingle with some of the other athletes. Yeah. So
you're not gonna bring like anything on your own?
I'm probably going to bring like a few snacks, maybe also some oatmeal, which is, you know, the thing I eat in the morning.
Very Danish.
And, it is?
Yeah, it is.
It is?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also going to bring some råbrød. That is very
even more Danish.
That is very Danish.
Yeah.
I'll
You also wear white
some.
socks in your sandals, right? That's also very Danish.
Always, for sure. I'll definitely bring something, and some different energy gels and electrolytes to apply in the water, and I will. Hopefully, it won't get stopped in the airport. I don't know if it's
I don't
legal
know. I'm actually also planning on bringing quite a lot, because I know from Rio and London that the media food is not great.
Okay.
So hopefully I can bring a lot of stuff. Anyway, on to the next one. How tough is it to adapt to a different continent when you play a tournament? Like, the temperature in Asia is different from the one in Europe. So yeah, will your training be different, or do you go on the same way as you do if you were to play in Europe?
Do you want to answer that one? It's not so Olympic related.
Yeah, but why I thought it was Olympic related and relevant to use it today is because, like, usually we don't do things differently just because we go to Asia. Not a lot, at least. Maybe we change some small things, but this time you actually try to do something to get more used to the heat. And that's only for this Olympic preparation. So that's why I thought this question is quite relevant. What is it you do now to try and get used to the heat?
So what we have done this time is after our practices, we'll have to, you know, normally it's normal for us to cool down on a bike, and just sit there for like 10-15 minutes or something like that. But when we do it now, we put on a lot of clothes, so it gets really, really warm, and then we'll sit there for 20 minutes and just
actually get warmer than you were on court.
Yeah, and it's warm as hell. It's very, very warm, and it's not really comfortable. But that is kind of to prepare ourselves for the very warm weather out there in Japan. I think right now it's around 30 degrees or something like that. So that is one thing that we have done this time.
And it's not like it's something that's just like a homemade idea. It's they actually do have some kind of evidence that it does work, right?
I don't really know about the evidence and stuff like that. I just, you know, I get told what to do, and then I say, okay, styrke Mads, I believe in you. You have done all the research, you know, Team Denmark, What is Team Denmark?
Yeah, that's like the support team that backs all the Olympic sports.
Yeah.
So not just badminton, but also rowing, handball, whatever.
They know.
They have experts working in every field in terms of performance enhancing stuff, not drugs. But
so I just follow order, and
and that's fair enough to do sometimes.
But it is definitely, you know, a challenge for us Europeans, because it's not really warm here right now. it's quite warm, but usually it's not very warm in Denmark. So when we go to the Asian countries, it is a big challenge. And I remember some of my first trips to Asia. I was drained for energy after like one tough set because of the heat.
Yeah.
And so that is definitely something that you will have to get used to. After experiencing it many times, you'll get better at it. But it can definitely drain your energy for sure.
But yeah, you guys, you also travel quite late compared to a lot of the other Danish athletes. You're only leaving on the 17th, right? And I think that's because we are, of course, quite used to actually going to Asia. So we've dealt with this many times. I think a lot of the other Danish athletes, like the rowers or the guys from athletics or whatever, they don't go to Asia that often. So they need a little bit longer to actually get used to it and prepare.
Yeah.
So yeah, you only arrive like 6 days before you have to play.
Yeah, 6 or 7 days before. Yeah.
So that's mostly, I guess, the time difference that you need to get used to.
Yeah, and then there's also the time difference. Yes. But I think I've got quite good at it, adapting over the years.
Yeah.
Next question.
Cool. Next one is from Lubas. He asked a lot of good ones. We chose this one where he's asking, what do you think about Olympic qualification limits per nation, where only a maximum of 2 players per category is allowed? Do you think that Olympic badminton tournament is of lower quality than a regular world championship? And I can say from my point of view, I understand the rule, and I think it's a correct rule to have in an Olympic Games. I think it's really important that we have athletes from as many countries as possible. I think that's part of the reason why the Olympics is special, and it's a huge event for the entire world, not just the few countries in the world that has wealth and better possibilities. Of course, it's annoying to sit here, and twice I've been good enough to go, but I wasn't selected because we had better players. But I understand the principle. But I also think that obviously it does make the tournament, at least in badminton, less strong than what you see at the World Championship, where you can have 3 or 4 players sometimes. And also, if you compare it to a World Tour event, it's a lot weaker, especially in the singles events. As we briefly mentioned before, the group stage in singles is not really intense. There's a few groups, but some of them are also going to be very one-sided. But after the group stage, you will be back to normal World Tour level, I guess, because then you have at least you have 14 of the 20 best players in the world. So I guess at that time it won't really make a difference, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I think you answered it perfectly, so I don't know if I'll have to add anything.
But I can add one thing.
Yeah.
I think one thing that then does make the Olympics a different thing is that the pressure is obviously a lot higher.
A different beast.
A different beast, yeah.
But the same animal.
Right. Yeah, so the pressure and the entire situation is gonna make it a little bit more difficult to actually play at your best. So even though the level in the early matches is not as high as in a World Tour 1000 event, it will be maybe as difficult to perform at your best because the pressure is more intense. Would you agree?
Well spoken, Hans.
All right,
well spoken.
Next one is from Safin Emran, and he simply just wants to know which athletes you would like to meet the most at the Olympics. So at the food tent, for example, who would you like to run into?
I haven't really thought about that, but I saw.
But you said that you prepared for this episode.
Yeah, but I haven't prepared for the Olympics.
Okay.
Only for the podcast. No, I actually saw a picture on Jan O. Jorgensen's Instagram account. One of his first pictures. I don't know why I was stalking his account, but I found a picture of him and Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, yeah, maybe some of those athletes is in the village. But I haven't really thought about it.
Would you then go ask for a photo? Would you
I
not
don't
think
know.
that
I don't
he
know.
thinks it's maybe a little bit annoying that he
Yes,
cannot even
maybe
walk
it
in?
is. Maybe it is. Yeah. So I'll think I will, if I meet, like a big star, I think I will leave them alone. Because I know that they get so many requests on photos, and they also want to focus on.
I think also at some Olympics, right? The American Dream Team and other of the big stars, they don't stay in the Olympic Village.
I heard that.
Yeah.
But I haven't really.
I think that's where you can really see who are the superstars. Like even if you're among the other athletes, are still just worshipped.
Yeah.
Then you're probably big time.
But I haven't really thought about the other sports. So I don't even know who's attending the event, or I don't know.
I would have answered Roger Federer, but he's not playing.
He's not playing.
No, he just told everyone the other day that he's not gonna play because of a knee injury. So that's a shame. I'm a big Roger fan. Peter Kilson is asking if your training is still very intense, or do you lower your training volume and intensity as we get closer to the Olympics?
Yeah, and that's one for me.
It is one for you. Because I'm not training for the Olympics.
So the short question is yes.
The short question?
No, the short answer. The short
that was a very short question.
The short answer is yes. It is.
It's also late here, so you're excused.
It is late. It's 10:15, and once again we have decided to do a podcast on one of the warmest days that I've ever experienced here in the country. Yeah. So back to the question. Yes, the intensity and the volume is tapering down now. So there's only 10 days till we play. So we are in the process of getting the body fresh again after the insane amount of tough sessions that we have had during the summer in the hall and in the gym as well. So yeah, I guess that is the question.
It is.
The question's answer.
It is. It is.
It's yes.
I think you did that perfectly, and that's also going to be the final question for today. We also been on for nearly an hour, not quite yet, but
is this the longest episode that we have done?
I think so. Probably also the most boring one, but no.
Must be some kind of a record.
No, yeah, I think that's going to be the last one. So, are you going to do the outro, or? You did the intro. You did a good job, and I kind of messed it up for you. So I think you will get another chance to now just wrap it up.
Okay. So I'll wrap it up. Thank you guys very much for listening. If you have listened, if you, I was about to say a word that I'm not allowed to say, the F word. If you have seen this episode or heard it all the way to the end,
you're the best.
You're the best. I don't understand why you are still here in the end, but thank you very much if you are. I think that this was one fine episode. I'm happy about it,
and we need your feedback.
Right. Of course, we always love the feedback, and there's so many good comments in the comment section here on my YouTube channel, and we are trying to get better for every episode, and
we read it all, so please keep it going.
Read it all.
Yeah, and if it's not me or Anders, then Oliver will read it. He's the expert.
So guys, I'll round it up. Thank you very much for listening to this episode. Stay tuned for the upcoming podcasts and the upcoming vlogs. I have a vlog for you in a few days, the start of next week. Oliver is shaking his head, so I don't know, maybe Tuesday next week or something like that. So thank you very much, guys, for watching, and I hope that you are excited for the Olympics. I am, and Hans Christian is as well, and Oliver is also very excited, I know. So stay tuned for that, and see you in the next episode.
Bye. Good luck, Anders.